Well, good morning, everybody. Pleased to report that the Green Bay Packers did manage to win eventually. Mason Crosby finally got his field goal, fourth attempt to win the game for the Packers, and sealed it. And the poor Cincinnati kicker, who looked about 12 years old, thought that his final kick had won the game when it hadn't. It had actually hit the flag on the outside. It was bizarre anyway. So anyway, Pete's very happy, obviously, as are all the other Packers fans that saw them defeat the Cincinnati Bengals. So I'm going to share this with you. I'm just going to read through, add my own comments as I go along. Let's see what have we got. Yeah, let's come on down. Let's get rid of that. So this is finally okay. So this is an article from the Mirror. I've also got the same news story from another source, which I will share as well. I'll tell you what, that's not helping. That's better. Okie dokie. Yeah, that's better. Patricia Dean, Patricia Dean, and her son Vincenzo DeFalco have been on trial after she rang in sick to clean up her NHS, National Health Service, company car after he shot his love rival in it. Interesting, eh? NHS nurse called in sick to clean up company car after son shot love rival in it. Just in case you didn't get it the first time. Patricia Dean, here we go, a third time, called in sick so she could take the NHS company car to get a valet after finding blood. Now, the article says splatters. I know for a fact because the dude used to laugh at me so much when I used to say the word splatter. It's not splatter, it's spatter. Anyway, after finding blood spatter in it, after her son Vincenzo shot his love rival in the kneecaps. A nurse is facing up to 10 years in prison after she called in sick to clean up blood after her son shot a love rival in her NHS company car. Dear, oh dear. Come on, Mirror. That's 4 times you've said the same thing. Well, let's get on with the story. They are now finally. Patricia Dean, 58, of Sowerby Bridge. Sowerby Bridge, that's interesting. That's where a Berwick Bandit speedway rider, a very famous one, came from, David Walsh, but sure that's nothing to do with him. Anyway, Sowerby Bridge is in West Yorkshire, somewhere near Halifax area, called in sick to her job as a mental health nurse to clean the car after her son Vincenzo DeFalco attacked his love rival on January the 21st, 2019. Jonathan Smith, so Jonathan Smith was the guy that was attacked, and shot him in the knees in the Mercedes. As police launched a manhunt to find her son, Patricia Dean sent the Mercedes car in for a full valet and deep clean to remove traces of the victim's blood. You can see where, the similarities with, Wiegert. They had 5 days to clean up. Mr. Smith was the ex-lover of DeFalco's girlfriend, reports the Daily Mirror. Bolton Crown Court heard that she then left the vehicle at her sister's house, hoping that the police would not be able to find it. It was later that the car was found along with traces of Mr. Smith's blood. Isn't that interesting? She wasn't able to get rid of the spatter. Mr. Smith was taken to hospital with serious leg injuries and had to undergo surgery. Patricia Dean was found guilty of assisting an offender. DeFalco admitted grievous bodily harm with intent at an earlier hearing. So they both got caught, obviously. He had told friends he, quote, wanted to put the jitters on someone. Philip Barnes, prosecuting, told the court that car was a lease hire vehicle hired to Patricia Dean via her employer, the National Health Service. She herself had another car, a BMW, but her son, it seems, drove the Mercedes. Not even happy about that situation. Mr. Smith was shot through the front of the left leg at point blank range with a shotgun while he was sitting in the back of the Mercedes. DeFalco, the shooter, had been sitting in the front seat of that car and had turned and fired his shotgun through the leg of Mr. Smith, who was sitting in the rear, and then pushed Smith out of his car and onto the pavement before driving off. The court heard that DeFalco, Vincenzo, had called his girlfriend, Mr. Smith's former girlfriend, and that she called Patricia Dean and told her what had happened. Here is Patricia Dean arriving at court. Patricia Dean at Bolton Crown Court. Mr. Barnes said, within minutes, Patricia Dean was on the move to where her son lived, and they met in order to work out what on earth they were going to do and how they were going to try to cover DeFalco's tracks. Patricia Dean, for her part, arranged for the Mercedes to be thoroughly and deeply cleaned in an effort to remove all traces of Smith's shooting. She sent messages to her supervisors at work, suddenly telling them that she wouldn't be in the next day, or indeed the rest of the week, as she was suddenly and mysteriously unwell. We suggest that she had rather more serious things to worry about than her attendance record at work. The following day, Dean was seen at a car wash in the Haywood area at the wheel of the Mercedes and asked that it be given a full valet. Mr. Barnes added it was cleaned for over an hour, and during the process, she repeatedly asked the operative to clean the back seats thoroughly and was seen inspecting the back seats of the vehicle closely. Quote, the worst of the mess would plainly have been cleaned before she took it to the car wash. Nobody would take it for a valet full of blood, as it must have been, but this was about scouring out any trace of Jonathan Smith's blood in there. DeFalco and Dean will be sentenced in October. I've tried to see if there's any news, but I haven't come across any yet. Right. What's going on here? There we go. Oh, there we go. Dean later told police her son, quote, would never do anything like shoot somebody, and added, he tells me everything. She denied knowing about the shooting in court. She and DeFalco will be sentenced in October. A friend of DeFalco was acquitted of involvement. It is believed the firearm has not been recovered. No. See if I can get that other one to come up. Let's just stop that one, just to make sure that I get the right one for you. Yeah. Now, obviously, it goes without saying that there are some people who are suspicious of Barb. would suggest that, you know, what Patricia Dean has done is in some way similar to what they think that Barb has done. I think that might be overstretching it. Clearly, Patricia Dean thought that she could eradicate any evidence of this Mr. Smith, but, you know, it didn't matter. She tried her best. They tried to clean it. They took it to the car valley, thinking it was thoroughly and deeply cleaned, and it wasn't. They were still able to get Mr. Smith's blood. Yorkshire NHS news nurse threw a sickie to get her company car cleaned after her son shot love rival in it. Patricia Dean from Sowerby Bridge is what the dickens, how am I saying? There we go. Great fun with this today. Is now facing up to 10 years behind bars. There was a little bit more detail here that I wanted to go through. Arrest Yorkshire NHS nurse through a sickie so she could get her company hire car clean after her son shot a love rival in it. Patricia Dean, 58, cleared up after 28-year-old Vincenzo De Falco kneecapped Jonathan Smith with a shotgun as the victim sat in the back of her Mercedes sports car. As police hunted her son, Dean, a specialist NHS mental health nurse, had the C350 Sport E Auto undergo a full valley and deep clean at a car wash in a bid to clean Smith's bloodstains away. She then left the vehicle, which had been hired for her by the NHS, at the home of her unwitting sister in the hope police would not be able to find it. Smith, 25, who was the ex-lover of DeFalco's girlfriend, was found dumped in the street in Rochdale and was taken to hospital with serious leg injuries. He underwent many hours of surgery to his wounds. Police later recovered the Mercedes and found traces of his blood on the seals around the rear passenger compartment. Dean of Sowerby Bridge, West Yorkshire, has been found guilty by a jury of assisting an offender and could be jailed for up to 10 years. That's, oh, no, hold on a sec. DeFalco of Backup admitted causing grievous bodily harm with intent at an earlier hearing. No motive was given for the shooting. Bolton Crown Court heard Mr. Smith was attacked on January 21st, 2019, after being lured into the back of the Mercedes by DeFalco, who had told friends he wanted to put the jitters on someone. Philip Barnes, prosecuted, said the car was a lease hire vehicle hired to Patricia Dean via her employer, the National Health Service. She herself had another car, a BMW, but her son, it seems, drove the Mercedes. It does seem a bit bizarre that the NHS is providing a car for her son to go around shooting other people. Mr. Smith was shot through the front of the left leg at point blank range with a shotgun while he was sitting in the back of the Merc. DeFalco, the shooter, had been sitting in the front seat of that car and had turned and fired his shotgun through the leg of Mr. Smith, who was sitting in the rear, and then pushed Smith out of this car and onto the pavement before driving off. Same picture. In the hour that followed, DeFalco made repeated telephone contact with his girlfriend, who had also been the ex-girlfriend of Jonathan Smith, the man he shot. She then called Patricia Dean and told her what had happened. Within minutes, Patricia Dean was on the move to where her son lived, and they met in order to work out what on earth they were going to do and how they were going to try to cover DeFalco's tracks. Patricia Dean, for her part, arranged for the Mercedes to be thoroughly and deeply cleaned in an effort to remove all traces. She sent messages to her supervisors at work, suddenly telling them that she wouldn't be in the next day or the rest of the week, as she was suddenly and mysteriously unwell, and she clearly wasn't worried about her attendance record. The following day, Dean was seen at the car wash, Hayward area, and asked it to be given the full value. It was cleaned for over an hour, and during the process, she repeatedly asked the operative to clean the back seats thoroughly. I don't think there's anything new there. No. Yes, here we go. The worst of the mess would plainly have been cleared before she took it to the car wash. Nobody would take it for a valley full of blood, as it must have been, but this was about scouring out any trace of Jonathan Smith's blood in there. Valiant effort though it was, it failed. Getting up every trace was impossible. Okay, you need to think about that. And Mark Wiegert saying they had 5 days to clear up. You cannot clean up blood spatter. Getting up every trace was impossible, and so it was that Jonathan Smith's blood was found on the seals around the rear passenger compartment. Having washed that car and thinking it to be forensically clean, Patricia Dean left it at the home of her sister, where it might hopefully go unnoticed for a while. Dean and DeFalco were arrested on January 23rd, as she was driving the BMW. Dean later told police her son would never do anything like shoot somebody, and added, "He tells me everything." Again, it's are we surprised at the mum coming out with, her son would never do anything like that? Of course not. She claimed she drove the Mercedes the previous weekend and made no mention of her trip to the car wash. In court, she denied knowing about the shooting and said her son, "I am not aware that he had done that. I did not know what happened. I had absolutely no idea. I have got nothing to hide." You're lying, Patricia. You've been caught in a huge, whopping lie. She admitted visiting her son, but said it was because he had an argument with his girlfriend, Lucy Flux. She added, "Lucy rang me and said, Enzo's in trouble. She was just shouting. I said, I will call you back in a bit." Well, you've been caught out in that. They had a very volatile relationship. I thought she was very much in control and didn't think she was right for him. I said, "I will come and see you," as I thought they had an argument. She seemed really upset. I said, "Do you want me to come up?" She said, "Yes." I did not start prying and questioning. I was angry and upset. When I got there, Enzo was saying, "What are you doing here?" I said, "Well, she phoned me up. She was really angry. I wanted to find out what the argument was about." She and DeFalco will be sentenced in October. A decorator friend of DeFalco was acquitted of involvement. It is believed the firearm has not been recovered. As I say, that there will be people out there that will draw so many parallels, but for me, the interesting one was the blood spatter. It immediately struck me that, an attempt was made to clean the car. No, can't be done. You can't get rid of everything. And certainly, the bloodbath in Stephen's bedroom. No way. Mark Wiegert could they have cleaned it up in 5 days? As I say, one or two people might take the comparison of Patricia Dean with Vincenzo and Barb with Bobby. That's obviously for us to discover in the future what's going on there. It might seem quiet at the moment as we wait for the Wisconsin Court of Appeals to presumably not take on the case, as John Farrak has pointed out so eloquently in his article. The last thing that Wisconsin want is a making a murderer 3, 4, and 5. But we'll wait and see. Okay, we'll catch you all again soon. Take care. Bye for now.